Continuing with our series of researcher profiles, I have with me today Dr. Aisling Leavy, lecturer in the methodology of mathematics education within the Department of Language Literacy and Mathematics Education at Mary Immaculate College. You're very welcome, Aisling.
Thank you, Holly.
Aisling, I'd like to know about what you do here at Mary Immaculate College. What is the methodology of maths education?
Well, the methodology of maths education relates to the practices of teaching and learning mathematics and the scholarly research that informs that. So at Mary Immaculate College we prepare pre-service teachers to teach primary level mathematics. So we're really invested in providing learning environments that give pre-service teachers access to the methods, the approaches and the tools that help them teach mathematics in a way that supports little children in best understanding maths. Now, mathematics education relates also to other disciplines that impact on mathematics education, such as cognitive dimensions of learning and sociocultural dimensions of learning that impact mathematics.
Tell me a bit about your research area, statistics education, and how does it relate to your work here at Mary Immaculate College?
Well, I am a mathematics educator, and mathematics education has 5 main strands: geometry, measurement, algebra, number and statistics. Statistics, as you know, is pervasive in society. So children and adults are bombarded with data, with images, with graphs, all representing surveys and studies and so on. So I'm passionate about helping pre-service teachers, but children in particular, in becoming statistically literate citizens so that they're not passive consumers of statistics. So it would focus on areas such as children's understandings of distribution, variability, informal inference, sampling and so on. Now, as a teacher educator, I'm also keenly aware of the impact that teacher knowledge has on the development of children's understandings. So a lot of my work also looks at ways that we can support pre-service teachers in best developing their own statistical understandings, but also in developing their understandings of pedagogical approaches and methods that work well in classrooms in terms of helping children's learning trajectories develop in the area of statistics.
What did you do before you came here?
Initially I did a science degree in UCD, and there I studied psychology and mathematics. From my studies in psychology, I was really interested in cognition and learning, so I went to St. Pat's and did a postgrad diploma in primary teaching. And from there I began to see the links between maths and between learning and psychology. And from St. Pat's I got a scholarship and I went to California State University at Chico. So at Cal State University I did a master's degree in education, and I was really fortunate to be able to do a lot of work looking at cognition and learning, but also a lot of work in mathematics education specifically. And from California State University I went to Arizona State University, where I did a PhD in mathematics education. Now, my cognate area was statistics, so I took lots of stats courses with some really eminent statisticians and educational statisticians looking at children's mathematical thinking. So that culminated then in a PhD which looked at the development of children's statistical reasoning about distribution. So all of that led me then, the best fit for me then was to be in teacher education, focusing on mathematics education for primary level children.
What was your first experience of doing research?
I think my first experience of doing research was as part of my undergraduate degree in UCD. So I did a thesis which I explored the impact of regular computer game playing on children's cognition. So that got me interested in looking at children's thinking and factors that might influence or impact the way they think and their cognitive processes and dimensions of learning.
Have you supervised researchers, and what is your advice for beginning researchers?
Yeah, I've supervised several master students over the past number of years. I've supervised one PhD student who's now has his doctorate, and I currently am supervisor for 2 PhD students, one at Mary Immaculate College and one at University College Dublin, where I'm part of a team supervision. In terms of advice for beginning researchers, my first piece of advice would be to sit down and make an agenda, a research agenda, over a couple of years. Print the agenda and tape it on your wall. And I think that helps you stay connected then with what your plan is. Second piece of advice I'd say is write as you read. So as you're reading, be writing all the time. I'd also advise that you find a mentor. Look for some research funding. Even small funds can be helpful in terms of getting the support and equipment or whatever it is that you may need. Attending conferences is really useful because it helps you look at the processes that other researchers have gone to, from initially looking at their research question to designing studies and analysing data and then reporting. So it's nice to see other people doing that and hear about the struggles they have along the way. And finally, you've got to close your door and you've got to write.
You're a very prolific researcher and writer in your field, Aisling. What sort of journals do you publish in, and how do you decide where to publish your work?
My main consideration for publication revolves around the notion of impact. So they fall into two types of journals. The first type of journals are journals that are related to scholarly research, and these journals would have high impact ratings in relation to mathematics educators and mathematics researchers reading those same journals. The second type of impact I'm interested in relates to the work I do as a teacher educator, because a lot of my research explores ways to develop children's statistical and mathematical understandings. This work has implications and advice that is helpful for classroom teachers. So I look for outlets that teachers will have access to.
Where does your energy and enthusiasm for this work come from, Aisling?
Well, I guess I love how children think about mathematics. I love how they reason. I love how they justify. I'm really intrigued when their thinking goes wrong and what's causing that. I'm interested in their misconceptions and in the way that we can best set their learning trajectories in a way that gets them from maybe naive intuitions about mathematical concepts onto more sophisticated reasoning. And when you're interested in that, then that brings along with it your interest in helping pre-service teachers devote their attention and their time and passion and curiosity to helping little children's mathematical thinking develop.
What has been your greatest achievement to date, and what has been your greatest challenge?
My greatest challenge to date has been trying to make meaningful and authentic connections between the work I do as a researcher and a teacher educator to the lived mathematical experiences of children in classrooms. So always trying to look at the why of why I'm doing this and why I'm writing grants and why I'm writing papers, and explore and develop impact and relationships between theory and practice. Another challenge that's there all the time is the challenge of trying to find space and time to write and to research. And I haven't got the answer yet, so it's my long-standing challenge. In relation to my achievements, I think my greatest achievement is to have found my niche. I'm really fortunate to be able to research the area I'm interested in, but also to have the opportunity to have my day-to-day work be intimately connected with that research.
What direction is your research going in now?
Well, at the moment I'm working on exploring the types of knowledge that teachers draw on when they're teaching statistics in classrooms. So I'm trying to explore the pedagogical and mathematical content dimensions that are needed to support teachers in their daily teaching of classroom mathematics. I'm also looking at children's developmental learning trajectories in the area of statistics. And finally, I'm looking at inquiry-based approaches to exploring the mathematical practices in primary classrooms.
Aisling, thanks very much for speaking with me today.